On November 15th, at the MCPS Division III County Championships, WJ varsity cheer managed to take home first place for the second year in a row. Unfortunately, their win did not sit well with some of the other competitors, who took to Twitter to voice their opinions. Walt Whitman Cheerleading, who snagged third place behind Magruder, was specifically vocal in their disappointment surrounding the competition results. This recent outbreak, among many others on Twitter, has reignited the spark in the controversy surrounding what can be considered cyberbullying. To investigate this, we first began looking into what exactly happened between Whitman and WJ on Twitter.
Well, pretty much one of the Whitman cheerleaders tweeted something that was about the competition that was incorrect, that they scored 400 points and that they were the only team that scored 400 points, which was not true because WJ scored over 400 for the first time ever. And so there was a lot of back and forth arguing between members of WJ cheer and members of Whitman cheer. And then eventually some other students started joining in, and some people were saying mean stuff about each other, and yeah.
Some of the harder-hitting and more offensive tweets gained dozens of favorites as multiple students across both schools joined in on the fight. If these tweets can be considered cyberbullying, however, is still up for debate. Could the fight on Twitter between WJ and Whitman been avoided?
Probably. I mean, they initiated it because their coach told them the wrong scores, and that's what started this whole thing. They wouldn't have had to tweet anything if their coach didn't tell them the wrong scores. So it probably could have been avoided if their coach didn't do that and they didn't tweet anything.
What exactly were the consequences for the WJ students involved in the fight?
The administrators called some of the cheerleaders down and made us write apology letters to WJ cheer, not to Whitman cheer, because we didn't owe them apologies. And the administration had to talk to the Whitman principal and coaches, and a lot was done about it.
Can this specific incident on Twitter be considered cyberbullying?
I wouldn't exactly consider it cyberbullying, just because it was I don't know, I wouldn't consider that exactly cyberbullying, but I do think that there are some instances of cyberbullying at WJ, but that specific one was not, because this girl was not, she didn't seem like it hurt her, because afterwards she went to her school and walked around like she was famous.
Is cyberbullying a real and prominent issue at WJ?
I personally think that cyberbullying is not a huge issue, but when it does happen, it gets pretty big, and it's like administration takes action over it. There has been cyberbullying over the special needs kids, a few of them.
Has a new rivalry been created between Whitman and WJ?
I think that this has created a new rivalry between Whitman and WJ, because we have basketball season coming up, and Whitman and WJ play each other twice, and some tweets from the Whitman kids were said that Whitman's gonna whoop WJ's butt, so that should be interesting to see.
With basketball season now in full throttle, it'll definitely be interesting to see how the so-called rivalry turns out. Regardless of the recent incidents at WJ and how people personally classify them, cyberbullying undoubtedly continues to be a growing issue around the nation. As the social media craze expands, hopefully adults and students alike will learn the importance of cyber civility and kindness online.